So I appreciate you being on here.
I appreciate the invite. This is so awesome.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us your name. Tell us the name of your company.
Okay, my name is Tosha Bailey, and my company's name is The Mix EduKitchen and Fitness.
Cool.
Yes.
And then what does that look like? Do you have a retail space? Kind of what is it, that service that you provide for people?
So previously, the original intention, I was in an actual physical studio space, and what I wanted to do was bridge food and fitness together and mindset and healthy living, kind of like the green sustainable living, mix it all together. And that's how you create a healthy person. So when I had my studio, there was actually a kitchen. I made sure that there was a full kitchen in my fitness studio. And I held cooking classes.
It's not very common to have
exactly
the source to create all my food in my fitness studio.
Yeah, so I had cooking sessions in there. I held cooking classes, like small group cooking classes, as well as I'm what I call crunchy. So I like make a lot of my own stuff, like sustainability. So just teaching people that as well as a pathway to health, because it is all inclusive. It's not just fitness. It's not just nutrition. It's a mixture of a lot of different things. And when one of them is out of balance, then that typically reflects in your body, your energy, your mood. So it was just bringing all that together under one roof, which was cool. But then I discovered that being in a studio felt like prison, because I just didn't leave for multiple hours, and I didn't like it. So got rid of the studio.
The stuff that you teach people there it's different in your studio than it is at home too.
Definitely.
Is because I could do like a yoga class or like a spin class, because I am very, I wouldn't say I'm super invested in my health. Like I don't spend a ton of money on my own health, because I know what health looks like. I was a college athlete. Like I understand what that looks like for my body personally, but I am very cognizant of keeping my health journey diverse. Yes. Is that I can feel my body get stronger. Well, then I want to become more flexible. Well, then I can stretch and stretch and stretch and do different stretches, have someone help me stretch. Then I become more flexibility, and then I want to increase dexterity. So I do these long, extended dynamic workouts that are isolating really small, efficient parts of my body and make those stronger. Well, then we start again. We want to do strength. Then we do strength for a little while, and we want to add some protein to the diet. So now we got to up the cardio. It's always changing for me based on the revolutions that I want to have in my body. And what you're teaching people in a studio kitchen, or a kitchen that is one set way, is different. When you go to someone's habitat and say, well, here's what your habitat is, and here I can teach you how to kind of do things differently versus what you're already seeing, it's a lot more adaptable of a solution. So is that how you're doing it? You're going to people's houses, giving them that roadmap of, here's your path to success in your own environment?
Yes. And that was actually what happened, is that, I was just like, oh, okay, well, I guess that part is over. But then I got contacted by a friend of a client, and she was like, hey, my mom's birthday's coming up. We want to do just like a cooking thing. And I was like, oh, I don't have my studio anymore. And they're like, well, could you come to our house? I was like, that is brilliant. So packed up everything and, everything that I needed, but they had a lot of stuff. And it was even more exciting and fun for them, because like you said, they're in their home, and it's almost like you can go to a cooking class, but just like what you said, when you're in your own environment, it seems like it's a lot more like it's attainable and it's more sustainable. So it was so fun because, they had their own drinks. Like it was just a thing. And it was such a blast that, yes, I started doing more of those. And then I have what I call like VIP days, and it's just redoing someone's kitchen. So going into their home, which again is something that I wouldn't have been able to do at the studio, and seeing, what's your environment like? How is your kitchen set up? And realizing like, yo, you're trying to meal prep with like a butter knife. That's not going to work. And you need like a real knife to cut through these things. And they're like, oh my God, that makes things so much easier. And I'm like, yes, it's fun to chop things when you have a sharp knife. So you're able to, make it, like you said, based on their environment. And that has been a lot of fun, and show them how to cook with their stove, because, different ovens do different things. And it feels like it's something that they can remember a lot better. And I've kind of gravitated more towards nutrition than fitness, but I still do fitness as well. And it was kind of the same thing, just they're more comfortable in their home. But then also I've done virtual. So, of course,
Oh, wow.
these hashtag COVID times,
Yeah.
everything
No
went
choice.
virtual. Exactly. And it was really cool because I wanted to, pre-COVID, I wanted to travel a lot more. And so I was experimenting with doing virtual coaching and things of that nature, and then got forced into it. But a lot of folks have actually, even though I meet with maybe 2 people in person, a lot of folks really do enjoy the virtual. They enjoy just, no one has to travel anywhere. They can
Sure.
just get up, roll up out of bed, and boom, start doing whatever.
When did you start your business?
I started this business in 2000. Oh, wow. Hold on. 2010.
How did
So I've been in
back up?
fitness.
How did you get? Where did you
Oh,
go to
gosh.
school? How did you get into? How did
such
you
a
get into
crazy
this
story.
fitness?
Okay, so
area?
the short summary is I got into fitness because I was cheap and I didn't want to pay for a gym membership anymore.
Sure.
So that's what happened. I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators.
Okay.
And I was on a completely different pathway. I wanted to, originally, my undergrad is in forensic anthropology and criminology. So I have a strong science background. And the goal was, it's going to sound very morbid, but like death investigations and things of that nature, like bones. So actually there's a TV show like that now. And that was actually part of the issue, is that CSI came out my junior year. And this was not no one really knew about this as a field. And
Sure.
I've done internships that are crazy and have seen a lot of crazy things and things that would probably haunt most people. And I'm like, this is kind of what happens.
Yeah.
But when CSI came out, it made the competition really strong. So even though graduated with honors, high
A lot of people
GRE,
kind of saw the allure of.
exactly. So it made a situation where there was 20 seats, for maybe 300 applicants. Now there's like 3,000 applicants for those same 20 seats. So that didn't work. And so I was going to go down the medical field, become a physician assistant. Never wanted to be a doctor. You actually have to have time to spend the money. So physician assistant. And while I was applying, I moved to the DC area and I was working out at the gym. I started working out probably around like my senior year of college. I never exercised before then, but it was just like stress relief. It was something that a friend of mine's friend taught spin. And so got into that. And I was going to Lifetime Fitness and I was like, this is expensive. What can I do to not pay for this? And so I thought I wanted to swipe cards, but
Spin is one of the identifiers of that. It's that class.
Yes.
It's that everybody being in there with you. That hot spin class, and
Exactly.
you see people have to hop off the bike and
And I'm
take
like
a breath and grab some water, and I'm like,
Like,
yeah, I got
let's
another one. I
go.
beat another one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
And
I
she
thrive
had the
off that competition.
best spin class. I'm a rocker girl. So like she played just like this hardcore music and it just like got you in this just, the endorphins are going. So it was perfect. And so one of the trainers, when I asked them like, hey, do you have any openings for like, I was just going to swipe membership cards. And he's like, you look like you know what you're doing. I kind of do. But I was like, I never played sports. So, and he's like, well, that's not what it's about. But do you know about the human body? And I was like, I know a lot about the human body. So internship, got certified, thought I was just going to do it for a year to do grad school. And then I actually fell in love with it because what I realized was that you can actually prevent people from going to the hospital. You can be a part of the preventative part versus the reactive part. And then just seeing how fitness and healthy living got some of my early clients off of medications, help prevent surgery in some cases. It was like really cool just to see the effects, their confidence just by changing their posture. So I fell in love with it. And it's been, last year was my 16th year. So this will be my 17th year in fitness.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So
Which was not expected.
that, from then to this company now,
Yes.
what is the time elapsed there?
Let's see. So I started in 2004 in DC Lifetime Fitness. And I was a trainer there, got into management with their metabolic program. And then they opened up, it was their Sugarloaf location, which was their second Georgia location. And my family's from Georgia. I'm from Georgia originally, Atlanta. And so I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity to come back home, so to speak. And so moved back, transferred with the company. That was in 2007, right before the recession. And because DC is very different, very government oriented, we didn't know about it. Like, we had no idea. There were no foreclosures going on. When you have, people that are in government type jobs, they don't have
Ultimate
some of those.
Job security.
Exactly. So I had no idea what was going on. So move here, and then things start just like falling apart. And it did have an effect on the gym as well. And there was just some other inner politics stuff I wasn't really like down for. I'm a good team player, but I don't do authority well if it doesn't make sense. So I left, and I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. And that's when it started. That was in 2000. I think that was in 2009.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you started kind of rolling. You're ready to roll out on your own?
I rolled out on my own. I started off in Buckhead, and I actually...
Did you start off training, or you start off cooking?
Training.
Figured.
Yep. So
it's easier to gain that client. People understand
Exactly.
the benefit of having that person that metaphorically screams at you over your shoulder.
Yeah. I don't scream. But yeah. So my thought process was, let me hit a place where I don't have to like run after individual people as much. So what I started doing was hitting up like apartment buildings, high-end apartment buildings. And I wrote up this whole proposal, made it a win-win situation. And I just went to every like expensive apartment building in Buckhead. One took me on, worked with their employees for free. This is like in 2009.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was awesome. And had, because they had a gym, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Sure.
And I didn't pay them anything because I worked, I'm like, hey, any of your people, come on in. And did that for a couple of years. And then it just started word of mouth from there. And then some people, worked in their homes. I like the travel. I realized that I don't like to be confined in like one space. So the travel to people's homes and their apartment buildings. And then it just kind of spread from there. And then, of course, people have... the exercise is easy for most. It's the food that's the challenge.
Yeah, I found that too. What you're saying about is that people don't really like that confinement when you do. It's like the super specialized gyms that like to create their own habitat. Like the jiu-jitsu gym I go to and the boxing gym that I go to need to be set up so specific for the way that you're training that there's a large advantage to them for creating, this is the soil, and if you want to be a plant that knows how to box, you can grow here.
Exactly.
Your product is more adaptable.
Yes, definitely. And I like that because I have participated in retreats. And that's something where I didn't have to worry about, oh gosh, what's going on with my studio or something like that. Like you said, it's a very transferable skill in that sense.
Sure.
So it's like wherever I go, I can... we can get in a workout and I can show you how to cook something. And from the cook something, what's been the differentiator is that I tell people they can eat what they want. Like, you don't have to give up anything, and you don't. And you can still get the results that you're looking for. But the sneaky part about that they don't realize that they're getting, I'm telling them what they want. And what they're actually getting is that through the process of the coaching that I do with them, I'm changing their relationship with food. So exposing some of those things, like, everybody, especially women, will not wait, because I don't do, but it's that, I'm an emotional eater. And it's like, you're not an emotional eater. You didn't come out of the womb being an emotional eater. So we've got to like go back and see, what is it that you're trying to eat away? And then when we can identify that, have them feel their feelings, work through it, then what they discover is that, okay, like it was this thing, and I was eating as a result of that, most of the time coming from childhood stuff. So it's a lot of psychology that comes into it. But when they're able to work through that, they find other ways of dealing with that emotion other than food. And then it doesn't become, they're more in control of it again. And so you don't have to cut out the sweets that they enjoy or the foods that they enjoy. And my pleasure of cooking is having healthier ways of cooking the things that you wouldn't think would be healthy. And of course, the air fryer has made that like so easy. I'm just like, just get an air fryer.
By the air fryer.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day it gets used. And so that makes it a lot easier too, because some of the things that they have issues with is just the restriction. It's just too much restriction. If you tell someone I can't have, and you're an adult, you're like, I can do whatever I want. And so you make it accessible and show them a better way of doing it. And believe me, if you make a, let's just say, fried chicken sandwich or something like that in the air fryer, even a pan fry, it's going to be healthier because you're using a different oil. And it's going to taste a lot better than like McDonald's or Wendy's. And so when they discover that and they can cook it on their own, they're saving money. They're saving, their health is a lot better. And they're realizing like, oh gosh, I can eat this and it's still healthy. And they're also reaching their goals. So that's been the biggest thing. And with the virtual, I'm now working with clients all over, which is really, really awesome.
So what is the scale that you work at? Like how many clients? Do you take on clients for a certain period of time? Like, or are they with you for, like, what is the average lifespan of your clients? How many kind of clients do you shuffle around at the same time?
I have a variety. So it's hard to give you a quantifiable of how many clients, because I'm also working with 2 fitness companies as their food coach. So I have access to their hundreds of clients.
Is that where how your package is structured? Is like somebody pays you monthly until
correct?
They're
Yes. With the fitness companies, they're paying me.
Sure.
And then if, for just like a base level of nutrition education to their members. And then if their members want to do a deeper dive, then yes, they work with me privately. But okay. So it's a great thing. And so I work with 2 companies, one in Virginia, one in Maryland. I really enjoy that because I can just kind of like pop in. You meet with a lot of people. And then on my own, I probably have maybe like 10 or so clients. Some of them are a mixture of fitness. Some of them are nutrition only. And some of them, it's a mixture of both. Mm-hmm. And some of them I've had for years. And like 7 years, I've had some of these clients. And it's not, at this point, it's more of an accountability.
Sure.
They could totally do it on their own. But that's like, especially for the type of clients that I deal with, they are real estate agents, they're executives, some of them are also business owners. So they have so many things that they're thinking about. They don't want to have to think about that. Sure. And unfortunately, they would work through everything and not take a moment for their health, but they know they need to. So I'm just kind of like their accountability stand-in. I design their workouts based on what they're going to do. Hey, you have a trip coming up, great. If you want to get hot for that, so to speak. Or like I had a client that was, he went on a ski trip just recently, and he's also had a lot of pain previously. So got him trained to the point to where he was able to go skiing, no issues, was out there for a lot longer than he's been able to do in the past and without any pain. So it's really just adaptable, just flowing with whatever they have going on in life. So kind of like what you were saying with yourself, you just make these little micro adjustments. Sometimes it's just general health, and then other times they want to get stronger, they want to get leaner. And so it's just like micro adjustments based on the goals that they have at that moment, at that time in their life. So pregnancies, work through that type of thing, and just different stages of life that they're in. For other clients, it's, I usually work with them on a 3-month standpoint, depending on where they are. If it's just like, it's not too bad.
90 days is a good chunk of time to make a change in your health, because you're not going to experience, depending on the state that your body's in, you're not going to experience a change as drastic month 3 through 12 as you are 0 through 3.
Exactly. And that's how it gets structured.
Baby gains.
Yeah. So like usually within the first month is like the heavy hitting, we got to hit mindset, and there's a whole structure to it. And I just kind of mix and match, kind of pull things from it to see what does that individual person need. So it's usually mindset, food, just like changing up their foods, adding in more vegetables. We don't even talk supplements. Like, we got to get you like on a good baseline first before we start introducing that. Dealing with some of their nutrition mindset. Do you have the right tools? And within that first month, make sure they're sleeping. What are your stress levels like? So all of the other things that are surrounding fitness. Interestingly enough, with a lot of them, I have to actually tell them to back off the exercise and actually eat more, which is kind of crazy. Like they, it's just like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you're doing too much.
I'm 6'5", and I was 165 pounds when I graduated. Probably.
Oh, wow.
By the end of my freshman year of college, I was like 190 pounds.
Yeah.
And that was, everybody else go outside and run, and Bailey, you get your ass on the squat rack.
Yeah, like
you
that
don't run
cardio
ever.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. People are doing way too
I
much
didn't
with the
run my
cardio.
entire first year.
And and for most people, like, you really shouldn't, like, especially with basketball.
I was doing a bunch of like power training, like a bunch of jumps, resistance bands,
Exactly,
the Vertimax, squatting a lot, just changing my bone structure, picking up heavy stuff.
Yes.
And it did a lot. And they were, you need like, you need to eat as much protein as possible, and you don't really need to run ever.
Yeah.
And that was what I did. I gained weight. I gained muscle mass. I was lean. I could literally run forever.
Yes.
I was in the best shape of my life.
And that's what people don't really understand as well is, for folks that want to, there's like, well, I'm running so that I can get better at running. And it's like, and that does make sense on the surface, but
it can actually work against you, though.
Exactly.
Running is one of those things that you have to do such in a repetition that if you're doing even the smallest percentage of it incorrectly form-wise, it's devastating.
Gosh, it wrecks your body.
It's devastating. Yeah, I mean, I'm a basketball player. Trust me, I know. I'm ACL, MCL, PCL, meniscus, all of it.
And with the client I was telling you about,
ligament, all of it. It's been
repaired. And with him, he's had a lot of those issues. He had a different trainer in the past.
It's gait issues.
It was gait, and the trainer that he had, because I came in for more corrective exercise, because that's something else I love and have a specialty in as well. So I was referred by his chiropractor.
That's exactly who introduced me to my physical therapist, as my chiropractor.
And initially we had just like a war of minds, because he's like, I don't understand why I'm doing all this little stuff. Like, why are you telling me to foam roll? Why are we working on this stuff? And I was like, dude, you have to have a foundation. Like, your other guy had you powerlifting and all this stuff. And so now it's been a year that we've been together, and he's still, it just blows it. He's like, oh my God, it felt like I never actually did a real push-up. And I was like, because you weren't. Like, you were doing something else, but you weren't activating everything. Your mind-muscle connection wasn't there. And he's been out of pain for a year.
That's what I do now, is flexibility and dexterity. I think those are the most important things, is that I have been very strong at different points in my life, but I could only use 70-80% of what my muscles were capable of doing, because my flexibility and dexterity there. Stretching is what I do more than anything now.
Yes.
And my goal is, like, I want to be able to do a split, like a full split.
Front or side?
Oh, no, down the middle.
Oh.
Straight down the middle. My goodness. Yeah, that's my goal for the end of this year, for December.
Yeah.
So and I'm not super far. I'm pretty flexible.
That's
I
awesome.
want to be able. I would like to be able to do that, like this summer, the split. I want to be able to touch my nose to the ground. Really, and that's my real goal.
But I love that you even have, and of course, like, you're already fit.
How high I will be able to jump if I'm that flexible.
Yes.
Like, I can already hang my elbow in the rim. I can jump. I've always been able to do that. My calves are pistons.
And people don't realize how that correlation happens. From an athletic perspective.
Everything that your muscle is capable of doing, it can reach its fullest potential.
And that's what he's realizing now. He's like, wow, I can feel just like everything come together and move his body, and in a way that's not painful. So with a lot of my, especially like women clients, I have to get them, I'm like, just walk. Like, the beauty of walking.
Walking's the best thing for weight loss.
Absolutely.
I think.
Absolutely. So whenever they're
least
getting
impact
started,
on your knees, and it raises your metabolic rate. Even you're burning more calories even when you're sleeping. You're breathing
you're
better.
burning fat. I mean, it helps with like anti-aging as well for them, and it just works really well. And it's
all
something
24
that's
hours
simple.
of the day, your body does better walking than when you're not. When you're walking regularly or not walking regularly, all 24 hours out of the day are different.
Absolutely.
That's what was my physical therapist described that to me, is that when you sleep, your body does more. You recover better.
That's when all the results happen.
You burn a lot. You actually burn a lot of fat. Your metabolic rate doesn't drop when you sleep, for the most part.
Yep.
Your core temperature dropping is what makes that change in the amount of energy that your body is taking.
Yes, and I tell people it's like a computer update that's happening
Exactly
when you're sleeping.
Exactly right.
I'm just like, if you're not sleeping well, you're not sleeping deeply enough, and like, you're stressed out, or just all of that excessive cortisol because you're trying to like go hard. I also like to say, like, everybody wants to train like an athlete, but they don't want to recover like one. They don't really want to do the athlete stuff. They just want to like, run fast, do all the stuff that's like Insta impressive. But then they don't understand those are also the things that's keeping them inflamed, like you said, and holding on to excess weight. So for some folks, I'm just like, stop going. Like especially with some of the other fitness companies or folks I work just nutrition, I'm like, give me 30 days of just walking every day for 30 minutes. I need you to meditate, get your woosah on, and then let's focus on your food. And they'll drop 10 pounds in a month and sleep better. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And then we start adding things back in and then they're just like, this was so easy.
Yeah.
Because it is. You just need, it's just a lot of confusing things that are out there. And
would you say that you kind of can cater to any of those people though? Is that your business owner that's stressed out wants to make small changes, manage their life, all the way up to the guy that wants to be a beast and pick his truck up and throw it to work and then run behind it and get there?
I would say yes from the beginning. For that last guy though, I would refer him out from a
That's
fitness
fair.
standpoint. Like I would make sure that he had the foundation. So like his, like the stabilization. Are your joints stable? Your tendons stable? Are your ligaments stable to handle that? Like from the corrective exercise standpoint.
That's what I do. Dumbbells.
Yeah. So from a foundational standpoint, I could get him there. But then when he wants to really start like throwing things, I'm like, go
That's
over
what I
there.
wanna do.
Go over there. Do
There
your
you go.
strongman stuff over there.
I want to I play basketball still all the time. So like my level of explosion, I want to be able to like touch my head to the rim. That's my goal, is like maximum explosive. Not even like heavy, not even strong. Is just like the ability to change direction and jump. And move my body in a way. I'll tell you some of the
like
best
true
things.
athleticism.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Dude, my shoulders were so weak for so long. I'm doing flies. I had no idea.
And that's what he's had a couple of shoulder surgeries, and we've had to kind of go a little bit slower. And he's like, well, why can't I do this? And he's a business owner. He's type A. And so like we got into these little arguments. Well, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm just like, this is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship
like
for
David
the time that we're
Goggins.
together. David Goggins is a beast.
Oh, he's a different level.
Yes.
He told Joe Rogan, like, what do you do for Joe Rogan's like, what do you do for stability? And how do you make sure everything keeps turning? He's like, have you seen me with my shirt off? I'm stable as fuck.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, everything. That's what, and he's like, I go home every night and I stretch for 3 hours.
Yeah, I thought it was either 2 or 3.
Yeah, like I stretch all night. Like I'm stretching and I was like, okay, I gotta do something.
And when I heard him say that, I was because I read his book as well.
Yeah, I did too. His book
a couple
is
years
awesome
ago.
too on audiobook. If you actually
I got the
read
audio.
It's like a podcast in between a chapter.
Exactly, which was so
super
cool.
sharp.
So I don't have the physical book. It was all audiobook. And so like if anytime I recommend it, I'm like, get the audiobook because it's just so cool how he just stops and give you more.
Yeah, that dude's a beast.
And because I definitely upped my like mobility, flexibility game after hearing that.
What do you recommend like for tracking? Do you use technology for that, or are you telling people stay off the scale? Are you writing it down in your notebook? Because there's a couple there. I've tried a couple of things that I really like, and I've tried a couple of things that I really don't like. And everything's got its better than or worse than. And like Whoop Strap, I have my feelings about the Whoop Strap. I like the Whoop Strap.
I've just recently heard about that one.
Dude, if you haven't tried it, I definitely recommend that you try it because the recovery information is just flat out better.
That's what I was hearing about that.
It's the sleep, the oxygen percentage in your body. It's just better. It's just better data. And the Apple Watch does okay. Those Galaxy watches do okay. They do about what the Apple Watch does. Dude, I like the balance band. I have a balance band that I wear when I work out on my left side because that's the side that was all my knee issues and stuff like that. And it's really good. So I have some stuff that I use electronics wise for tracking, but I wonder. Well, I actually have a scale that integrates with my Whoop Strap and stuff, but scale is not that important to me. The scale is not my it's the points, it's the rebounds. Those are my identifier is like, I didn't feel as healthy as I have felt before today on the court. What is the reason for that?
Yes.
Am I overtraining? Am I not recovered? So there's several things that I have tried. I wonder what, from your perspective, is kind of the...
For most of the folks that I'm working with, they are typically Apple Watch people. For my clients that are more into tech, they do like the Whoop strap, and I haven't even done a deep dive on that. My dad is looking into the Samsung.
The thing's free now.
Really?
The actual piece of technology is free. They've went to a freemium model where we'll send you the watch for free if you pay us the $30 a month.
Huh.
It's better.
Okay, so I'll probably test drive that because I don't do wearables myself.
Because you pay like $12 a month for the service on the Apple Watch already, and then you pay like $20 or $30 a month to buy it from AT&T.
Mm-hmm.
The Whoop strap is $360 a year, or if you pay it all up front, I think it's $300 a year, $25 a month. Yeah, it's incredible.
I'll definitely take a look into that.
There's no face, no face, bullshit, no heartbeat, no all this stuff that you want to watch while you're working out. It's distracting.
What it is.
Your text messages pop up on it.
That's exactly why
I wanted none of that.
Don't like
I wanted
them.
a sensor on my arm that didn't tell me anything until I was done working out.
Okay, so
Because
now
I think that
get
information
appeal.
convinces you that you are done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my heartbeat is 170 beats and I'm sweating and I've been here for 35 minutes and I've been going hard on the stair stepper. And I'll go to the gym and I'll look up sometimes. I just put a list together of things that I decide I'm going to do and then add a couple things when I get there. And I'll spend 2.5 or 3 or 4 hours in the gym of little stuff that I wanted to get done that I know I want to get done. So that's why I don't like all that info. I don't like it being shoved in my face. I don't like the notifications.
Yeah. And for a lot of folks, it ends up being way too distracting.
Yeah, it pushes you off the course,
Yes.
I feel like.
You're not focused on...
Look at your body, not the numbers sometimes.
Yes.
Like, wake up and feel how you feel in the morning.
And that's
what
I like to try and get people to do, become
wake up
connected with their
15
body.
minutes earlier and like, oh, I feel pretty good today.
Yes.
Skip breakfast and intermittent fast and manage your energy. Like,
yes.
There's several things that you can do that's not all about those numbers, but that's why I asked, because the recovery stuff, what the Whoop strap does is, hey, you didn't sleep that good last night. You're only 60% recovered. When you go to the gym today, it's not heavy day anymore.
Yes.
Heavy day's tomorrow now. Now it's light day and you need to go sleep.
Like that.
And it tells you.
Okay,
I mean, I'm
so
30, 40,
get
50%
into
recovered
that one.
sometimes. I don't have to wear it all day long.
And that's, because I don't like the all day long
I get my workout info. I get my weight after and I'm out of there.
Okay, you might have convinced me there,
I
because
like it.
there's a lot of things I don't like about wearables. The distraction part of it is a big one. People get too locked into that versus what they're actually doing.
It's still possible with the Whoop strap for sure. It has there is a certain expectation of technology companies today that it has to have a certain number, a certain little bit of pizzazz, and like, hey, we can recommend you a workout and stuff like that. And recommended workouts are horrible. Go on a light jog for 7 minutes and then come back and go to sleep. No, that's not me. I need like the high level workout, But I like the recovery part, because that's things that people don't pay attention to, and they'll go hard for every single workout. And I'm like, you don't do hard every single. And if you're stressed out, which a lot of business people are, you aren't even getting the most out of what you're doing already.
You're working against yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're really stressed out, of course, like, it feels great endorphin wise, like, let me get in there. But that's endorphins. It's actually doing the opposite for your body.
Yeah. And if your body, and my basketball coach actually told me this was, if your mind is going to sleep all night and you're dreaming all night and it's working out, that subconscious stuff that you've got going on, all that stress, it's spending all that time, you're dreaming, you're spending that, you're working all that out subconsciously. That's time that it's spending away. It's time that it's spending outside of your muscles. Is that you recover at a different rate every night depending on what's going on around you too.
Absolutely.
That, and the Whoop strap was very clear about that.
I will definitely look into that.
You probably don't. You knock a couple miles and then come back.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good about that, and I like it. It sold me on it quick.
Okay. And see, that's something my dad is definitely a tech guy. So he would be obsessed with that because he was telling me he's getting another Samsung, whatever.
And you're no contract. So if they send you the thing and you don't like it, you pay the $30 one time for 1 month and then you never pay for it again. It's just simple as that. It's good.
Yeah.
But you'll use it though.
Yeah, because I like this. I like the sleep and the recovery information.
I hate my band. I'll tell you that. I hate it.
Really?
I hated my Apple Watch band too, though.
Yeah.
It pulls my arm hair.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
And I haven't worn a watch since I
have
left
never
the
worn
gym.
one in my life. That's probably what my issue is, but
I'm
hate
like,
that
I
band.
don't, because I felt like I was so constricted with time that I couldn't spend the time that I needed to with the
For sure.
individual person. So I'm just like, meh. I keep track so that I'm not there for hours.
For sure.
But, I also want to be undivided attention versus me looking to see like, oh God, how many
sure.
minutes are left and not giving them the time that they need. So
For sure.
that's a big
And that
deal
it's
to
a
me.
really good thing that if you were to refer a piece of technology to some of your people,
Mm-hmm.
you're not referring them, hey, it's $500 up front and then it's 10,
Exactly.
12, 15 bucks a month. It's like, it's $30 a month for as long as you want to use it. And when you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. And it's good technology. It really is.
definitely dive into
It boils it down to the people that really want the numbers that matter and not a lot of the
Not the fluff.
Yeah, not the
Exactly.
fluff. But it was good. So yeah, what are you looking for? Kind of outline your ideal client for me. Is it that stressed out business owner? Is it that stressed out mom? What is the ideal client for you look like?
So interestingly enough, my ideal client is the hot mess client, is the one that like most people don't want to work with. It's the person that is, most of them will be busy in some form or fashion. So they are a busy person, whether they have their own business, whether they, are working for someone else or a stay-at-home mom, because they're just busy and they feel like they have success in multiple areas of their lives, but their health is the one thing where they keep falling apart. They
Sure.
feel that,
It's a very common thing.
exactly. They've tried all the diets. I've saved, so to speak, about in my total career, 3 people from having bariatric surgery, which
Oh,
I think is
wow.
awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
they're like,
And
you are my
bariatric surgery is
last time,
awful.
my last chance. Yes, and I had a client that was actually a bariatric surgeon.
So
That was like amazing to learn from her what it's all about.
that you're
during
talking
our
about
time.
Detriment to your body.
Detriment to your body, and what was
Golly.
really
That's
surprising.
such a chore for your body to put that back.
And then
together
you
such a long
only
time.
have a 10 to 12 month like advantage.
Yeah.
After that, you got to do what everybody else does.
Yeah, you got to work out.
You still have to work out.
gotta
It's
eat right.
not a magic pill.
Yeah.
And so that was the part that was most surprising and
that
scary
12
enough.
12, 16, 18 months later, a lot of those people are fat again.
Exactly. And I've worked with people
And
who
you
have
can't do
had
that
the
twice.
surgery. Correct. They've had the surgery, gained the weight back, and now they've made the change to their anatomy.
Yeah.
And then they gained the weight back. And so
that
they still have
hurts
that
to look
hard.
at, though.
Yes.
It hurts to see because the up the hill is a long way up. And so it's kind of like you took the tram. I always remember that Ron White skit where he's like, you can take the donkey to the top of the mountain, or you can take the tram, and it's the same price.
Yeah.
A lot of people took the tram to the top. Well, then you came all the way back down the mountain when you
Yes.
gained that weight back. You don't even get a donkey anymore. Like, you've got to walk.
You got it. Yes.
You have the hardest road ahead of you, and you are probably at a way lower point now than you were before you did this to your body the first time.
Absolutely. And
It's
then the
tough.
mindset with it too. So I really enjoy working with that person who feels like they've tried everything and, just giving them the re-education, the difference in mindset, changing their relationship with food.
Probably that's someone that had that trainer that was screaming over their shoulder,
Yes.
weren't getting what they wanted out of that relationship.
Yep. I'm definitely not. It's been a long time since I've been someone's first rodeo.
Sure.
I'm usually the person that was recommended to them by someone who's like, I didn't think this would ever work. And it worked for them.
Sure.
And again, I have the system down now, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't even know how this came together. Like it was just really with that individual person, again, mindset, sleep, stress, really just kind of talking to them and getting them to trust themselves again. so that they can make those decisions again and trust their decision making. Because essentially they've spent years, decades breaking promises to themselves. And that lowers your confidence level. You don't even think that you can do it anymore.
For sure.
So that's a long version of the client that I really enjoy. And I do have outliers, like the business guy I keep talking about, he's lean. I mean, he's always been lean. He was broken, from a body standpoint and needed, and he was in a lot of pain. But he's easy in a way because I know that if I tell him something, like I don't have to convince him to do a lot because he's like, all right, let's go. He has that like gumption about him. And then for somebody else
and
who
also probably doesn't want to spend, 20% of his brain power thinking, what is my next step in my health? What is my next step in my health?
Exactly. So he's easy in that standpoint. When I've worked with, business women, they're just really stressed out. Both of them are stressed out, but they're stressed out. Plus they have the family stuff going on.
Sure.
So just getting them to carve out the time to do something about their health without feeling guilty. Bringing the kids and, their significant other, if there is one, into the game and getting them a part of it as well. Because the other part of what I just recently kind of keyed in that I do as well is that it's changing generations. So, because a lot of times their eating habits and their exercise habits were brought on by how they were brought up. And so in some cases, they're still doing that to their kid, like they're getting healthier, but they're still feeding their kid like garbage.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I got to have this in the house because my son likes it. And I'm like, your son shouldn't be eating this either because you're going to set him up to speak to
because his body can handle it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're poisoning your child. And then, 20, 30 years later, he's going to be talking to someone like me because, you've created those same issues. So really, really kind of changing their generation, like from a getting a little woo, like epigenetic standpoint of just, yeah. And it's really cool because they are bringing their kids in and their kids are, becoming a part of the meal planning. They're cooking with their children. Funny enough, like I'm getting folks back in the kitchen. Like a lot of folks, it used to be that dining out was something that was special and you cooked at home, and now it's dining out is something
the other way.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you cook at home, it's
fast
like,
food
wow.
is the go-to.
It's the normal.
Cook at home if we're really feeling like stepping out.
Yeah, and that's like the special thing that you do. So switching that back up and getting their kids involved is really cool. And their kids are cooking or it's like, yeah, you ask your kid what they want. They're going to tell you kid type stuff. I want nuggets. Okay, but now you can show them and incorporate them in how to make healthy nuggets.
Nuggets in the air fryer.
Yo, people don't even understand.
No.
I'm like, just get an air fryer. That's made my life so much easier because before it was like
air fryer.
Yes. And then we'll deal with everything else because it's so easy.
Tell people, I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're knowledge field driven.
Yes.
Your business is doing well. You've had a lot of tenure in your area, and I know you kind of know what's going on. Tell me how you feel about the Whoop Trap. We'll come back. We'll do a part 2. We'll
I would
introduce you
love
to some
that because I will
people.
definitely get that.
I have a bunch of people. I actually did a couple of interviews today with some therapists, hypnotherapists, some other people kind of in the wellness space that can kind of supplement what you do. And I'm more than happy to make introductions to some of those people. So hopefully we can add a couple of tools to your bag as well with our connections. Get you in the network and to introduce you some people that can really make your business stronger.
That.
But tell people where to find you. How do they find you if they're looking for you? Do you got any social media out there?
I do. So my biggest social media right now is Facebook, and it's under The Mix EduKitchen and Fitness, or you can just find it under Mix, M-I-X, Kitchen, like the kitchen, Fitness. And I do a lot on Facebook. I'm horrible with taking pictures, so Instagram is not my jam right now. I'm like, I don't take pictures. So that's a work in progress.
Everybody else takes pictures of the food that I make them cook.
Yeah, I'm like
you just
living.
Tell people tag you on Instagram.
Yeah, and they do.
Go from there.
I do.
There's an app called, I think it's called Regram, isn't it? Oh. That you can just take people's posts and instantly add them as your own post.
Oh, I need that in my life because I live. I don't like take pictures like that.
I think it's
of
called
things.
Regram.
I'll have
It
to look into
allows you
that.
to just kind of share links back to their page. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if it's a website thing, just to kind of get a little bit more, and the website is getting restructured a little bit as well, but it's mixkitchenfitness.com.
Cool.
Yay.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so
That's
much.
Burn the Show. I'm looking forward to our part 2.
Yes.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Well, that's a wrap. We'll get out of here.
Bye.
Thanks.